Hello everyone, I'm Buford MC and welcome back to GregTech New Horizons. So today I want to do a little bit of a shorter episode on ore prospecting. Now we've talked about ores in general before, but I haven't really talked about some of the methods of ore prospecting that are going to be available to us at this point in the pack. And there's not many options, but we do have a few, and one of them is going to be quite good. So let's get right into it. So the first one I want to show you is a very basic method. Basically, it involves the hammer, and it even tells you here, usable for prospecting. So what does that mean? Well, basically, I think what it means is you can basically hammer down, not hammer down, but right-click on any kind of like cobblestone block. I don't know if it works with the chisel ones. Let's see. Nope, it doesn't, so we have to go out and find a cobblestone block somewhere. But what we should be able to do is kind of right-click on it, and it will give us kind of a hint as to what's around our area. At least the basic area what the block that we right-clicked on is. It's a very basic sort of thing, but we can give it a shot just to kind of show you. And then we'll talk about the better way of doing it. Now, this is available to you if you can't make the second method, which I'll show you. So let's try it right here. This should work. So let's right-click on the block, and there we go. So this one, it tells you that there's no ores found behind this rock. So let's see if we can find it somewhere else. So this one just might be too far away. It might be because of the mountain, if anything. Yep, no ores found. So might have an actual height range as well, so we might actually have to go down. Might be because of the mountain. So what we're going to do then, actually, is I actually did set aside a ore vein that I hadn't discovered yet, possibly for this purpose. So actually, let's go and take a look out there right now. And then we'll do the other thing. So I set out, I got stuck there. So I set out a ore vein on the other side of this mountain that I hadn't yet discovered, so that we could at least test out this kind of very, very basic ore prospecting method. Now, obviously, I've told you before that small ores in a vein can give you sort of a hint as to what that vein's going to be. It's not always accurate, but it does work a good chunk of the time, I feel like. This method, I think, is pretty similar. It's not always 100%, but it can give you kind of a hint. In fact, let's see if we can get any sort of hint from this block right here. There was some cobblestone. Nope, not that one either. So let's keep going down here. I have one. Yep, the torch is where it is. So let's just dig down. So there might be some sort of a range based on this. What if you can do it on hardened dirt? Nope, it does have to be stone. Can you do it on clay? Nope. So it does have to be stone. I think is basically the only thing. Stone or cobblestone. Let's turn that back on as well. Let's dig down a bit. So I do this little spiral staircase sort of thing to figure out what I need to do to get down there. You could just go straight down and use ladders, but I just prefer this method. Alright, so let's see if we can do anything here. Ah, so there we go. It tells you found traces of iron ore. So it's telling us there's potentially some iron ore down here. And it does it again. Just checking to see if it's going to change or not. And there's our thing right there. So this is saying small pyrite ore. So that could be actually quite a good one to find. Let's actually right-click this one as well just to get a further test. Okay, so this one didn't have anything. So it's not a perfect situation. So this is chalcopyrite. So based off the indications we're getting right now, this might be another copper vein, which for me could be quite good. This shovel, I'll be honest with you, I put some more redstone on it, and I think it's a little bit too fast. It cuts through the dirt like butter right now. So that is good when I want to get dirt, but it's a little bit annoying. Because if I just hold this down, it's just going crazy. It'll go through all of this immediately, pretty much. And it's pretty annoying, actually. But it's okay. So let's right-click again, see what we get. No ores found again. So it's not the perfect method, but yeah, based on the small ores, it's a pretty good chance this one's going to be copper. But we'll confirm it. Probably at this point, pretty high chance to be honest, but let's go ahead and confirm it anyways. Yep, pyrite. Check again. Yeah, now it says traces of pyrite ore. Oh, now we got a small lapis ore. Now that was only one of them. Check again. Got chalcopyrite, so most likely this is going to be copper. All indications are giving that, and there it is. So it is a copper vein, so that's actually quite a good one to find. But I did want to show you just how this sort of hammer method works. Now, it does take durability, I'm pretty sure. I actually haven't been paying attention to that, but I'm pretty sure it is taking up some durability. So, but you don't really need to use this method because the next method we're going to go over is going to be way, way better. Depending, though, on a couple of things. So let's head back over to the base, and we'll get to work on the next method, which is going to be the Ore Finder Wand. So that is a quest in the Stone Age. It does tell you about this, and we're going to go through the process of crafting it, and then we're going to test it out and see what we can do. Now, I don't really need this at this point. I've actually been fairly lucky in our area. We've gotten most of the big ores we need right now. We've got some copper veins now. We've got tons of iron, which is usually never an issue. We've got tin available to us. We've got a diamond vein, a redstone vein, and a lapis vein nearby. We've also got a couple of other ones as well. Yep, manganese, that's the one we're coming up on right now. That one we don't need for a while. The one vein I don't particularly have, funny enough, is a full-on coal vein, and I'll show you why that matters. It is also going to be nighttime. Now, the good thing about the sleeping bag, I think we made this one last time, is I can just right-click now, we can just sleep, so no more having to place down a bed, sleep in it, then break it. It's a lot quicker now, just to get through the night. Let's take a bite as well. So, we're going to go ahead and make that Ore Finder one, but the one thing I haven't found yet, though, is actually a full coal vein. So we have some coal available near that diamond vein. It's in part of it, but we don't actually have actual coal. And the reason I need that is because I want this quest here to get some lignite coal. I don't have any of this yet, and the only way to get it is going to be by finding a coal vein, if I can find that. So yeah, coal's in a diamond vein, but it is a coal vein here, so coal ore, a little bit of lignite coal. There is a lignite coal vein, but the height is very high up, so 80 to 210, so you're probably going to have to be around a mountain for that. So far, I haven't found one near this mountain, but we'll have to see. But that's pretty much the reason I want to use the Ore Finder Wand. So, let's get right into it. Cut this off as well. So, the process of making it's not that complicated. Now, again, you're going to usually want this to find specific ores, but you will need a few things to actually make it, including some iron, gold, and a bit of redstone. And the only component here we haven't really covered yet is this magnetic iron rod. Now, this can be somewhat confusing at first. So, if you click on this, it'd be like you need a magnetic iron ingot. So, how do you make that then? Well, you need something called a polarizer, which is not something we can make for a long time. So, because you can just put an iron ingot there and you get the magnetic iron. But we really don't have access to this. So how do you make this magnetic iron rod? Well, there is another recipe for it where you put an iron rod in with 4 redstone to make the magnetic iron rod. So let's do that. Should have some redstone around here. Now, funny enough, I do actually have magnetic iron. I found it in a chest, so you can find it around, but I'll go through the method of actually making the magnetic iron rod for the sake of making this, just to show you how it's done, even though it's not really complicated. We do need some iron rods first. What else do we need? We need 3 iron rods in total. We will need a gold ingot as well. So let's get into that. And that's the 2 magnetic iron rods. And we need a gold ring, which is going to be with that. Getting a bit more used to how to make the different components. I'm remembering them a bit better now. We do need 2 more redstone. And that should be everything to make this thing. Yep. So there we go. So, we now have the ore finding wand. Now, there are a few things we need to keep in mind when we're using this. So it does have, I think, a range. The quest here actually gives you a lot of information about this. Lots of information. But the key idea here is you're going to want to look at the ground and shift right-click, and you'll get the inventory open. And what you're going to do is you're going to want to put whatever you want to find in there. Now, I think we're usually just supposed to put sort of the ores. So, for example, what we can do here, let's put the vanadium magnite in there, just to give you an immediate example of how this works, because we should have that right around us. So what I can do is I can shift right click, put this in, and if I come over here, I think it will work. Yep, there you go. Starts making this kind of funny noise. You see the actual sprite start to turn over, and that's kind of how it works. Now, I do want to try and see if we can find some coal. I do want to actually check something else as well. So, you can use the raw ores. You might be able to actually use the proper ores as well. Not ores, but the ingots. So, this should have some gold as well. I don't know if iron will work, because, well, I'm not sure. Because it's not an actual iron ore. Let's try that. So, let's see if the iron ore works. The gold one should. Okay, so actual iron does not work. But if I go to gold, because we have a gold ore in this vein, it does work. Don't know why it's not making the noise, but now it is. So, at the very least, though, you'll notice that it's turning over. So, that's how you know it's actually finding something nearby. So, what we can do now is we should be able to grab a piece of coal, put it in, and see if we can find it. Now, I can test this as well. There's my coal. It's down here. I have a little bit. I'm not even sure where I got this from, to be honest. I think from a chest somewhere. Let's put the raw gold ore away as well. Or the vanadium magnite, excuse me. So, what we can do is we can check to see if this is going to work. So, we have a diamond vein right over here, which does have some coal in it. Now, that one actually might be a little bit harder, although we are at Y63, so actually that shouldn't be an issue, but it probably will detect it. So, it should kind of flip over and just detect that, just to confirm that the coal will work. The gold worked over there, so I'm pretty sure it will over here as well. But if it has the name in it, you can use pretty much any kind of version of the material in it. But you can't use it, so as you can see, this works. But you can't use it for something like, so if you want to find iron and you want to get magnite, you can't put an iron ingot in, that won't work. Has to be some sort of magnite still. So, that's kind of how that works. So what I want to do is I want to actually show you what happens when you find a new ore. And hopefully we can find some coal. So the way we're going to do this, I think the fastest way to do this is actually to travel by boat. Because I haven't found really anything over the water, so maybe there's something in the water areas around our base. I don't think we have a boat, because my last one, I think, blew up. But that's okay. They tend to do that. Where's my stuff at? Slabs. I'll make a few, just in case. That's just the way boats usually end up going in this. Well, I'm making that completely wrong anyways. I'll make 3. So, what we're going to do, so coal is in. Let's place down our boat and just go for a little ride and see if we can find anything around. Because this thing does have a pretty good range. And matter of fact, I didn't even need to go. There it is. So, it's actually right under the dock. So how about that? So as you can see, once you find the ore vein, I'll take this out because it is going to keep making that noise until you move away or you remove it. But as you can see, as soon as we went near coal vein, it puts it into the chat, tells you found a coal vein, and it does automatically update the map. So there it is. There's the coal. So that's how that works. And yeah, so it does work pretty well. So in fact, let's just keep going. Let's just see if we can find any more coal around here. In fact, I do need to put this back in, which may or may not work. Let's get out of the boat and let's catch back up. But yeah, I can detect them from a decent range, at least horizontally. Vertically, its range is about 60. But yeah, so this is going to be quite good if you need to find a particular ore. And it's not that difficult to make, but it can be a bit trickier to figure out how to use. But well, let's see if we can find any more coal around here just to see. Won't travel too far. Just go in a little loop. We may or may not find anything. This is where I'm getting a lot of my clay from. There's still quite a bit around. In fact, we're about to crash. Let's turn around here. So far not seeing much, but we do have that one right behind our base, which is quite good. I will point out, I've noticed that these guys over here have disappeared. I'm not sure what happened to them. I don't know if they despawned or something, but I don't see them there anymore. But I do have to take care of that at some point. I'm not sure how to take care of that, but maybe we just leave it there. Might not be a big deal. Yep, so here's our coal vein. Let's travel down here, see if there's anything down here. So we can do that. I have removed a lot of the lily pads, at least in that area. This area may be a little bit full. I mean, you can still lose your boat if you run into them. It can break against even a lily pad. In fact, there's still quite a few around. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's much of the signs of coal. Yeah, not down here. Did see a little Thorncraft node around there. But I'm not seeing much in the way of coal. So let's head back. We did find the one at least. I got to show you that, how that works. In fact, no, I don't think we can change it while we're in the boat. I don't feel like dealing with that hassle of trying to get back in it. So, we'll dock back at the base, and yeah, so that's how this thing works. So, I think that's a bit of a rundown on the ore system. Yep, there goes the boat. That tends to happen a lot. Let's leave a couple out here for now. That's fine. And let's turn you off. So yeah, that's kind of a rundown on the ore finding wand. So it is going to be useful for ore prospecting, and it can help you find any ores that you're struggling to find. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.